What is going on, guys? This is LSU Recruiting HQ. I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. And this episode today, we are going to be talking about LSU baseball. It is that time of the year, man. It is baseball season, and I'm fully locked in. I'm sure you guys are fully locked in. LSU, obviously, continuing on that national championship title defense with conference play starting. We got LSU sitting here ready to begin conference play. And guys, I don't know if you've looked at this conference schedule, but it is a gauntlet. Like, it is not fun. It is not fun in the SEC. There's a reason the best players come and play in the SEC is because just look at LSU's schedule. Like, I get a lot of y'all are probably sleeping on Mississippi State, but Mississippi State's a damn good baseball team, sitting at 12-4, 9 wins in a row. Yeah, they're gonna be all right, and then you throw in the fact that they're playing at Mississippi State, probably the most hostile atmosphere in college baseball. Nothing will come easy in these next 5 weekends where LSU gets the pleasure of hosting and traveling to pretty much top 10 teams all across the board. Like, after you get done with Mississippi State, you get to play Vanderbilt, Florida, Tennessee, and Arkansas. All four in a row. So, yeah. Always a good time in the SEC. We're breaking it down. We're going to talk a little bit about Mississippi State. We're going to talk a little bit about LSU. And I kind of want to start with the LSU stuff, right? Because everybody knows by now, like, LSU is a pitching first team at this point in the season. Things obviously can change. Jay Johnson is a hitting guru. I got full confidence that the hitting's going to come. But as of right now, LSU is not a finished product hitting. Offensively, they're lackluster in a lot of areas that they were predominantly dominant in last year. But this team is nothing like last year's team. They're not going to win the same way. They're going to do things completely different. You have guys that are stepping up that are true freshmen. You have a guy like Stephen Milam who's stepping up, contributing there at the top of the lineup. You got guys like Hayden Travinsky, Tommy White, people that have been in this lineup from last year. And then you got a lot of guys that are in a rotational mode now. You see guys like Jake Brown in right field. You see guys like Josh Pearson in right field. You see, Paxton Kling moving around. You see a guy like Ethan Fry getting the start, Ashton Larson getting the start here and there. Mac Bingham, obviously holding things down in left field. Paxton Kling holding things down in center field. And really the question is, what do you do with this right field position right now? That's kind of the position that Jay Johnson has been playing with a lot. I think you're set with your catchers. I think you're set at pretty much every single position except right field. And the way he's kind of been constructing, tinkering with the lineup, I think that's kind of going to stop now that conference play started. You're going to see a set lineup majority of the time to kind of get guys in the rhythm. That's why you've been seeing guys hitting in different spots like every single day, because he's been kind of tinkering with the lineup to see what everybody has at each position, getting guys in the lineup that don't normally play. Maybe you find a breakout guy. I fully expect the lineup to look similar to what it looked like opening day, where Josh Pearson is your right fielder instead of your second baseman, though. And then you're going to see, obviously, Stephen Milam play second base. So I would think right now you got Bingham, Kling, and Pearson in the outfield. You have Tommy White, Braswell, Milam, and Barrett Jones playing in the infield. Brady Neal is your everyday catcher. Hayden Travinsky is your DH. Like, that's the lineup you roll out there Friday night against Mississippi State. But this team is completely different than last year's team. Like, it is not going to slug its way to wins this year. Like, they're pitching so good this year that they don't need to do that. But we've seen over the last week or two, this offense has kind of gone stale a couple games. And that's not a knock. I'm not trying to, like, beat down on LSU and say, like, this is a severe problem. But the reality is that this offense is going to struggle. Like, and it's not going to get, like, you're not going to see a major leap like, oh, they finally figured it out here. Like, no, it could get worse before it gets better, is kind of what I'm saying. Because Mississippi State can sling it, man. They can pitch. A lot of people go off of what happened the last couple years with Mississippi State. Like, this team has figured something out over the last 3 weeks where they're playing tremendous baseball. Like 9 wins in a row, 12-4 overall. After starting 1-4, they figured it out, and so you kind of have a situation here where you could see pitching dominate the weekend. But you need guys that you're counting on to step up into these roles. Like, I'm not sure how long Jay Johnson can do it at putting Paxton Kling in the leadoff spot. I don't think he puts up productive enough at bats to where you take Stephen Milam out of that role. There's nothing that Stephen Milam has shown you that says he can't handle that. He gets on base, he gets base hits, he can steal bases, like he does all of that stuff. It's not that Paxton Kling's a bad leadoff hitter. I just think there's better options. I think Paxton Kling has struggled in that role. There's a lot of swing and miss in Paxton Kling's game, but there's a lot of on-base percentage in Paxton Kling's game. So I see why you do it. And then you have the speed as well, a factor in there. But you tinker with this lineup, and I kind of got a feel I think he's going to do it. But the fact is that guys got to start hitting, right? You got to see guys like Hayden Travinski. You have to see a guy like Tommy White get hot. And guys batting around him, you can't. This isn't a lineup like last year where you're 1 through 9, where anybody can beat you on any given day. Like, you can't pitch around anybody. Like, this is a lineup where people can piece up how they want to approach, and Tommy White is seeing the brunt of that now with guys not hitting behind him, not hitting in front of him. He is taking on a responsibility. He's drawing a lot more walks, which I like to see because he was chasing a lot earlier. But there's occasionally where he tries to do too much, and he makes sweet contact, and he lets the pitcher get him out, kind of. And he's got to learn that until the guys start producing around him, that he is not going to be a guy to be played with. He's got to understand his role in this offense is obviously to drive in runs, but you can't go up there trying to do too much. You have to trust your teammates and trust the guys behind you that they're going to come through. And I think you're going to start seeing that throughout the lineup. I think Hayden Travinski's starting to hit well. Like, you have Milam up there. You have a guy like Mac Bingham who's played a lot of baseball. Like, you have guys consistently through the lineup. You have a guy like Bear Jones who's a severe power threat who can go change a game with one swing of the bat. He's got to get better at first base. I know a lot of guys gave me crap about it, talking about him on Twitter, but, like, the kid has to make routine plays. It's costing you runs, and a lot of people don't think much of it. They say, I get the big old, every time I say something, it's always, well, you're expecting him to be Trey Miller. And it's like, no, I'm expecting him to be an average first baseman defensively. And right now he makes good plays, but there's some routine plays that he just doesn't make, and it costs LSU runs, and you can't deny that at this point. It's simple things like catching the ball, getting in front of it, not letting it go to the backstop, catching pickoffs, like stuff like that can't happen in close games. Like you saw in the Xavier game, he misses the pickoff throw, right, and that turns into the second run, eventually the winning run. And so if LSU is going to struggle offensively sometimes, which they are, and you can't make mistakes like that, which is simple things like catching the baseball. And you're going to have to obviously Jay Johnson is going to pick offense over defense every single day, and I'm not saying take him off of first base, but I fully expect him to get better as the season goes on, as he gets more reps. That's kind of where I'm getting at with that point. So that's kind of the LSU side of things. So let's talk about Mississippi State a little bit, guys. Obviously, a lot of you who follow college baseball and are watching this know of Dakota Jordan. Dakota Jordan is one of the best outfield prospects in the MLB draft this year, and he is the Mississippi State offense. Mississippi State is I'd say probably an average offense. A team hit a total of 298, so a batting average under 300. Not the best there, but then you have a guy like Dakota Jordan hitting 414, and who has been on a tear guys, 8 home runs, 26 RBIs already. Like, the kid is just crushing the baseball right now. That is a guy that LSU is probably not going to mess with a whole lot, and I like to see Jay Johnson take the Tommy White approach and kind of just pitch around him and let me see somebody else in this lineup beat you. The lineup is slightly inconsistent. You have a lot of guys that are rotating in as well. They're almost in a similar situation to LSU where they're tinkering, they're trying to figure things out. They're just not hitting the ball great right now, but that brings me to my next point is they are slinging it on the mound. They're pitching super well with a 3.57 ERA. Obviously, they're 12-4. They've done a tremendous job of keeping guys off base, not walking people. 48 walks to 182 strikeouts. You already have 2 guys over 30 strikeouts and a guy with 26 strikeouts. So you're going to see the same 3 guys you've seen majority of the year for them. On Friday night, you're going to see Cale Steven, 3.38 ERA, a guy who strikes out a lot of people and doesn't walk a lot of people. That's kind of going to be the theme of the weekend. And then on Saturday, you're going to see Nate Dome, another guy, 32 strikeouts, 4 walks. So the walks to strikeouts ratio is something that LSU kind of prides itself on. Like, LSU strikes out a lot, but I don't get too involved in it because they work a lot of counts, they draw a lot of walks, hit by pitches, all that good stuff. Like, that's what Jay Johnson wants, right? But it's going to be tough this weekend. This pitching staff is very good for Mississippi State. Like, they are nothing to mess around with. I think a lot of people have this conception this year that Mississippi State's not very good, and that is just not true. They picked it up as of lately. Now, I'm not saying LSU's going to lose the series. I'm not saying LSU's going to win the series. I'm just saying, like, if you're expecting LSU to come in here and run rule Mississippi State 3 times, like, it's not going to happen. LSU lost the series to Mississippi State at the box last year, so they have a little confidence playing. It's opening weekend for SEC play, so it's almost like a new season for them to kind of get off on the right foot. And that crowd's going to be crazy all weekend long. And LSU is going to have their hands full, but I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys are too, man. And if you guys want any more baseball coverage, man, check us out, man. LSU Recruiting HQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. And then subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, if you haven't yet, what are you doing? Because you don't get content like this anywhere else where you just get a random guy with this cool sign talking about LSU. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, nobody's got a sign like this around. So subscribe because of that. That's all I got for you guys today, man. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your weekend. I'm sure this ain't going to be the last time we see y'all. Make sure you check us out, like I said, on all socials. I will see you guys next time. Have a blessed rest of your week, and we will be breaking it all down this weekend for Mississippi State.